Morning in the city of Lagos. Good morning and welcome to Today in the News here on Vanguard Life. My name is Ololade Adeomi. I look into all our newspapers for today, starting with Vanguard. Major headline on Vanguard says 2027 elections, APC, 4 other parties ready, 16 in disarray, may not present candidates for most offices. Toll banner says Catholic bishops to federal government end Nigeria's bloodshed, guarantee credible 2027 polls. Raw materials export soars despite push for local processing. Trump hikes U.S. global tariff rates to 15% after court ruling. YCE to Southwest governors, be proactive, curb terror attacks. Nigeria floors European tech firm in $6.2 million arbitration case. Lower banner says how APC dominated FCT council polls, why previous governments struggle to resolve impasse with ASU, others, says federal government. And lastly, it says 2026 Electoral Act, we engaged AGF, INEC, CSOs, developmental partners for 2 years before enactment, says NAS. Away from the Vanguard, look into the Punch. Major headline on the Punch says NNPC, NUPRC fear financial squeeze after Tinubu's order. Tension soars as executive order disrupts all revenue flow. Pengerson, NNPC, NUPRC officials foresee funding crisis. Top banner says 2027 real-time result transmission achievable, says telcos. Tinubu slashes Genco's 6 trillion naira bill to 2.8 trillion naira. Rigging. INEC Rex a 2-year jail term. FCT polls, PDP drags APC to court after 5 council sweep. Lower banner says foreign investment in manufacturing plunges 54%. 19 more Nigerians face U.S. deportation. And lastly, Awujale ruling family demands governors resume selection process. Away from that, a look into the Nation newspaper. Major headline on the Nation says APC victory in FCT Rivers, Kano, a referendum on Tinubu's government. Tobana says capital markets contribution to GDP triples to 33%. Nigeria wins in $6.2 million dispute with European firm. And lastly, stay clear of Eba oil well. Ayedatiwa wants Abiodun. Away from that, to look into the Guardian newspaper. Major headline on the Guardian says uncertainty trails future of share nut export as 6-month ban ends. Top banner says CDS, we can achieve intel stability via controlled rehabilitation of terrorists. Anxiety as 25 oil blocks expire amid new executive order. Soldiers foil Boko Haram attacks, kill 29 in Borno, Yobe. Uni Abuja expels 28 students, revokes a certificate of 15 alumni. Nigeria losing $6 billion yearly to cargo diversion over high airport charges. NAFDAC seizes banned fake cosmetics worth 3 billion naira in Lagos. And lastly, Dangote opens refinery shareholding to Nigerians, set 4-month timeline. That's all we have on the front pages of our newspapers this morning. Join us after the break for a quick analysis of some of our top stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News here on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adeomi. Joining us in the studio today for a quick analysis of some of our top stories is Mr. Leo Mohammed, CEO Magni Communication Limited. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. It's a pleasure having you in our studios today.
Same here.
I look into a major story for today. It says the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released the timetable for the February 2027 general elections in Nigeria, including presidential, National Assembly, governorship, and state assembly polls. Only 5 political parties, the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, People's Democratic Party PDP, Labour Party LP, New Nigeria's People's Party NNPP, and Social Democratic Party SDP, are currently well organized enough to realistically contest for nationwide election. Meanwhile, 16 other registered parties face significant challenges, such as weak organization, leadership dispute, and so on and so forth. Let's look at this. Is the February 2027 election due date realistic enough, especially given Nigeria's our religious calendar and some of the logistic challenges that some people have shared so far that INEC might face?
Today is February what? 22, I guess. And you have 6 days. It's obvious that it is not realistic. So obvious. You see, the problem we have with our governments in this country is the ability to plan very well all the political activities that we've had in this country. And I'm surprised that we are still going on to make the same mistakes that we made in the years that have passed, and the result has brought this country to the level that a despicable level that we are today. Why would anybody fix any election for February? One, the fasting is on. Both Muslims and Christians are fasting. The turnout, if we insist that we are going ahead with these elections, the turnout will be embarrassing. There are some Muslims who don't go out at all in the last 10 days or 20 days of the fasting. So how do you account for the fact that you are going to deny those people their right to vote? It only makes a lot of sense that this date should be changed. There should be a reorganization of the election calendar. You don't need a trumpet or a trumpeter to blow these facts to the ears of INEC. I don't know whether they came from the moon. The truth of the matter is that what they are trying to do is not realistic. They should sit down, plan very well, and ensure that a lot of Nigerians are not disenfranchised. Because the truth of the matter is that you need people. Anytime you want to conduct an election, you need people to vote. If you don't allow people to vote, you have not done any election. As far as I'm concerned, you have just done what they call shadow election. Shadow election is an election that comes after the re-election has come and it is inconclusive. It is not conclusive. And you have to do something to conclude it. Do the chairman of INEC, does he have any reputation at all? If he does, I think it will only make a lot of sense to ensure that the dates for this election are shifted. Not for February at all. I mean, sit down. Even a primary school boy will know that the time they have chosen is not convenient. A lot of people don't go out, both Christians and Muslims, they don't go out when they are fasting. They stay in their houses, they want to pray to God, they want to communicate to God and do a lot of spiritual things. So I'm surprised that these dates are being announced anyway, but I'm confident that they will be changed.
Okay, so you spoke about mistakes that happened in the past election,
Yes.
2023 to be precise. What should the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, be doing differently this time in order to avoid the controversies that stemmed from the 2023 election?
Now, the major problem that we had, because I was a witness to it, the major problems that we had then in 2023 was the fact that a lot of people were disenfranchised. We had the issue of ballot box snatching. We had the issue of ballot papers printed in millions by contestants. And there must be a way to ensure that those malpractices are not repeated this time. You don't go through bad times twice. You can explain for one bad time, but when it becomes a constant happening, it has become an habit. It is no more a mistake. You see, we must ensure that we enhance the image and reputation of this country by allowing credible and acceptable elections to hold. We got independence in 1960. If you calculate the year that Nigeria has become an independent nation, we can, if Nigeria were to be a human being, we will refer to the country as an elder. So we must do things that will give credibility to whatever we do in this country, not only in elections or in electoral areas, in all spheres of life. We must ensure that the image and reputation of Nigeria is protected. Maybe because I am a practitioner of image and reputation management. You see, when I want to take decisions or I want to do things, I consider the consequences to my name, my reputation. Because when you have a good name, people will do a lot of things with you. People will want to do business with you. People will want to interact with you. Even at public functions, people will want to meet with you. But if you do what people shouldn't do, people will avoid you. You cannot even make money in that environment. That is one thing people don't know. Your name, your image, and reputation as a human being must be intact. It must be something that is acceptable in the society. Unlike what we have here, people just want to drag the name of this country in the mud. You see people kidnapping, they are killing, they are doing all sorts. The big boys in our society are financing kidnapping, they are financing assassination. You saw people trading allegations, top politicians trading allegations. I don't want to mention their names. It's a shame that at that level, those we see as our leaders are accusing themselves in such a despicable manner. So I think we've gotten to a stage where we have to rethink as a nation. The image and reputation of Nigeria is critical among the Committee of Nations in this world. I have been to a few countries as a journalist, as a media consultant. I know the kind of image that Nigerians have in those countries. And I feel embarrassed when you get to the entry point of countries, when they see you with green passports, they want to pay more attention to searching you. I have experienced it. But I have not done anything, but if you separate the green passport, you come back and clear that person because I have not taken drugs, I have not done anything evil. So I am confident in my bag. I pack them myself. I lock them. Even at the checkpoint, I make sure that when you are checking, my eyes are on you. So because you see, we've had a lot of evil things in this country. People are sent to pretend as if they are airport security men and they put things in people's bags. We've had all such nasty experiences in the past. So people should sit down and think positively about their own image and by extension, the image of this country. That's the only way we can redeem. Look at Nigeria. In the north, people are being killed every day. It's not giving us a good name at all. So let me just stop there.
Mr. Lee, so someone mentioned that the APC appears to, significantly be more prepared compared to other majority parties that have been registered. Do you agree with that? And
you can say that again. APC is in government. So what do you expect? If you are in government and you are looking at an election ahead of you, will you sit down and start sleeping? No. APC is in government, and virtually every top government official in Nigeria will give money to APC, not in thousands, in billions. Somebody has bought buses worth over how much? Over 1 billion and donated to APC, branded buses. Have you not read about it? So why would everyone in APC not be able to help the party? Because they have made enough money.
Okay, so would you say other parties are structurally weak, or that the way our political environment is right now is simply hostile, especially to smaller political parties that are just springing up?
I won't say that the structure of the other political parties are weak. The problem we have in this country, I'm going to tell you the truth, is the power of money. If you don't have it, forget it. If you don't have money, because you see, election in Nigeria is not like the one we have in the UK, in the US, and other African countries. In the UK, for instance, on the day of election, you usually don't have holidays. You go to work. If you are supposed to close by 4, you close by 1. On your way home, you must cast your votes. It is a must. But here you declare 2 days holiday, and at the end of the day, people will stuff ballot boxes, they will stuff bags and try to manipulate elections to their to the favor of their masters. We should rise above that level as a nation. It is not giving us a good name. It is giving us a very bad image and reputation as a nation.
Okay, so do you think that INEC is supposed to play any role to ensure that, these smaller parties are not left behind simply because of maybe
INEC have a greater role to play, because manipulation starts from having access to INEC officials. If you want to manipulate and you don't have access to INEC officials, that manipulation will fail. That is the truth of the matter. It will fail. So INEC have a great role to play in this matter. The officials of INEC must be educated. It's not going to have. It's going to have us alive. And I participated in the annulment of June 12th. I worked in Concord. I was then. Know what happened. Stories of June. The things that we do, because we were on the mainstream of the June 12th crisis. I was a very active participant. So looking at it from that angle, I don't want a situation where we will have any crisis again in this country, because it took the intervention of God Almighty for Nigeria to remain what it is today. There was a total shutdown of the entire nation through the annulment of June 12th. Our chairman, who was a presidential candidate of SDP then, was detained. I followed him to police headquarters when it was in Lagos here, in Ikoyi or somewhere there. I followed him, the way he was arrested, and all. The man was even pleading that don't destroy this country. He was telling people who wanted to attack the police, he said, no, you shouldn't do it. But it happened. Nigeria was totally shut down at that time. But it took the intervention of God Almighty for us to remain a nation today. We were almost going to get down because of the crisis of June 12th. So we have to be careful in allowing some cabals to disrupt or annul any elections again in this country.
Away from that, let's quickly look at our second story, because the time is fast spent. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, are expressing concerns about a possible financial squeeze, following an executive order by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that mandates that all oil and gas revenues be remitted directly to the Federation account without the previous deductions and retainment. Let's look at this. Why is this particular executive order, why is it generating so much anxiety, especially within the Nigerian oil and gas sector? Would you say that this order is, the right step in the right direction?
To an extent, yes, because you see some managing directors of NNPC who were tried recently, the humongous amount of money that was found in their local and foreign accounts in dollars, in pound sterlings. MD NNPC, two of them, two former MDs are being probed now. To that extent, I will support that the new rule should be implemented, but it will have some negative implications. If you have to look at it from that angle, I would want the status quo to remain. But because Nigerians, as Nigerians, we are not all of us, so some of us are not honest. A lot of us are not honest. If somebody is telling you good morning here, you have to look through the window and be sure that the day is bright and not dark. You have experienced those things over the years. Somebody taking my proposal, I submitted a proposal to his company. He took it, changed the letterhead and put it in his own company's letterhead. So that's the level that we have gotten to in this country. We really need a change of our characters. Let this country have some good image in the Committee of Nations, especially those who are at the government level. I heard that one of the ambassadors, new ones, that had just been appointed by the president, is having a problem, financial scandal in the office that he held before his appointment. So if you have such people in power, for how long are you going to be coping with scandals? It is embarrassing for our country. We must ensure that we have a good name as a nation. That is when we can be proud of our country among the Committee of Nations.
Okay, so this is a major concern from a lot of people, saying that, there are already operational structures embedded in the Petroleum Industry Act that can an executive directive actually override all of this structure that have been put in place?
I'm not a lawyer, but we need to look at that executive order properly. I want to assume, it is an assumption, that the president have this inkling that the large sum of money that have been stolen in the petroleum sector should be controlled and stopped. That may be a genuine reason. But if there are other reasons for it, I wouldn't know. But I want to look at it from that angle. Because how much money does the president want again? He's a billionaire in all currencies. So I want to assume that he won't look at it from a personal and selfish angle, but rather from a very patriotic angle. The president is not a poor man. I have known him before he became president. He wasn't poor then. So why would he run after Nigeria's money? And so we should look at it from that angle. Like, people will sit down and say, no, I don't say this president as somebody who wants to still loot the nation's treasury. So let's be positive about it. Let's look at it positively, that it is something that will benefit the country.
Our last question as we round up. If, oil flows directly, the revenue from oil flows directly into the Federation account, do you think this would in any way affect state allocations? What do you think?
Positively, yes. Because you see, some of the problems we have in this country is the problem of financial allocation to states. Some states, civil servants don't receive their salary until towards the end of the month. Why? Because the remittances don't come on time. They don't come on time. I have a friend in the state civil service. Every month I have to chip in some money to sustain him. My childhood friend went to the same primary school, went to the same secondary school, and we have remained friends till now. So I have that experience about him having to complain about delay in salary payment and due to remittances from the center. So genuinely, there is a problem of early release of finances to clear salaries and all that. And the earlier the government, especially the federal government, find a solution to it, even federal civil servants, they don't collect their salaries early. Those who are at the center, I mean, I have friends there, they don't get their salary on the due date. They have to wait till maybe 10th, 12th of the next month. And it is not good. You know, there is this adage in Yoruba that the man that works hard deserves his wages. So I don't want to translate it in Yoruba, but it is better said in ọmọ tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ déédéé ó ní láti gbádùn now. You understand? So it is better said in Yoruba than English. Yoruba aspect of it send the message clearer than it is done in English.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
You're most welcome.
That was Mr. Aliyu Mohammed, CEO Magnet Communications Limited. Remember, you can follow us on all our social media platforms as seen on your screen. For up-to-date stories, check out our website. It's www.vanguardngr.com. My name is Ololade Adewumi. Until next time, bye for now.